Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode 13, Tracks. This episode was actually really cool. I enjoyed the sort of multiple perspective aspect of it, where it kind of goes back to the same point, but from everyone's different perspective. I always love episodes like that, especially when they do it in this way, where it's like what happened to these people, or why did this person just do that, even though some things are fairly obvious, like May killing the one guy. It was kind of obvious to me at least. He set them up, so I wasn't too surprised when she killed him. I was a little shocked that, sorry, that she actually did kill him, just because it's the show that it is. I feel like they generally tend not to kill people. It's very rare, but normally they kind of get information out of them. But she just flat out killed him. But that was because he had the gun in his hand, so it made perfect sense. And I figured he had a gun too. It just kind of it just surprised me because normally they're always trying to get information out of people, except for the random nameless people, which they killed a bunch of those in this episode. But it was a really good episode, and they're on the train, and they have this new weapon, like the little grenade thing, where it basically freezes people in place and it makes them think no time has passed. So I thought that was a little, a cool reveal when they finally showed that, when they went to May's perspective, where it wasn't actually a disappearing train where they had some crazy form of technology. It was that this grenade kind of knocks you out, and it makes you think that no time has passed, but it was probably like half an hour when you think about it, because May had to go to run and get the truck and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool that they had that, and it'll be interesting to see that come back into the show. And it's basically they even say it's basically the same tech as they use in their guns, when they knock people out. But I thought it was kind of cool, just in grenade form, because they never really explained it that way, because generally they aren't the ones being shot. So it was cool to see what the guns would actually do to them, but I think it's in a bit more of a precise form, so they don't even know what happened. It just seems like it's instantaneous, and they just think time you know kept going, and they just disappeared. But I thought it was really cool, the different aspects. And then of course, the end of the episode, they bring Peterson back in. He wasn't in it for too much. He wasn't really in it as much as I thought he might be, but we find out that this device that they're actually going after is this leg, which is a part of what I believe was called like Project Deathlock, which they showed at the end of the episode. But it's this really cool mechanical leg that they put on Peterson, and it's just cool. It's like a little. It was like a little transformer to me, and it extended out, and it became a full metal leg for him. And we see that he has he's obviously been taken over by Centipede, so he has the eye thing. He gets the messages, but his mission wasn't to harm anyone on the team of Shield. Like, he was even told not to engage them, which I thought was really interesting. So the clairvoyant has some plan for them, or he sees he saw something. So it'll be interesting to really see how that plays out. But he's gonna be in the field a lot more because of Centipede now that he has his other leg. So they're gonna have him going out and doing these missions, and I'm curious to see why is it they want him to focus on the missions rather than taking out the team, because he could easily do that, because he has like super strength. So he killed a lot of people off in that room when his mission was to basically say you guys disappointed the clairvoyant, and then he just wiped that entire room out. So I'm curious to see why they don't want him to actually kill the agents, because he could easily do it, and then they'd be out of the way. Obviously the show would be over for us, but story wise, I'm curious to see how that plays out. But ultimately, love this episode. With Skye being shot, that was a very interesting scene. It was very emotional, and everyone was kind of hurt by it, as a normal team would be. So I'm excited for next week's episode. I'm sure she'll be absolutely fine. But I think this is one of those episodes where it seemed fairly simple. It was just another good episode, but with the ending, not just bringing back Peter, but with Skye, or Peterson, but with Skye getting shot, it'll kind of change the show from what it is now. It'll change the characters, and they'll have to deal with the fact that they almost lost someone, just like they did with Coulson, where they were really driven, and this time they're all together, and they're kind of just watching someone die, because it was different when they thought Peterson died, because he wasn't really a part of the team, and then Coulson was taken, so they knew he was alive. And in this case, it's like they are really watching Skye die, so it's gonna have a different emotional effect than when Coulson was actually taken, because it was very different than finding Skye on the ground after she'd been shot twice. So I'm excited to see where the characters kind of develop, or how they develop, based off of the end of this episode. And definitely, the whole Project Deathlock thing. I'm curious about what other crazy technology they have, if they have little calves that transform into entire legs. Maybe they're making like mechanical suits, or cyborgs and robots. Who knows? But I'm really excited to see how Peterson is going to be the test for that, and what his testing ends up resulting in. What crazy weapons and things like that they'll be creating. But excited for the rest of the season, which unfortunately we have to wait a month for, and that really made me mad, because it was like it went off. 2 weeks ago it went off, and then it was like, okay, we won't get it back until February 4th, which we did, and we got the episode, and now it's going to be off for an entire month, which really confused me, because it made me think, why bother taking that the week or two off, if you're just gonna bring one episode in and say, yeah, we're gonna be on break again for an entire month. It seemed completely pointless. Honestly, I would rather they just sort of ended um, with this episode and went on break, last week, instead of going on the break, or like skipping an episode and then coming back, and then skipping an entire month before we get to watch it again. But they don't have that many episodes, and it's fine. Like, it's not like that's gonna make me stop watching the show, but it just kind of annoyed me, because I was like, okay, we're getting back into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, and then the preview ends, and it's like, yep, not until March, and I was just kind of surprised by that. But overall, love the episode. So comment below, let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Favorite parts, least favorite parts, and with Skye being shot, and Peterson now actually being put out in the field now that he has his leg, where do you guys think the story's going to go for both sides? Because obviously, we'll split it into two sides. The good side has to deal with Skye, being hurt, and then the dark side, because that instantly makes me think of Star Wars, but the dark side now has their ultimate weapon out there. Where do you guys think those two storylines are really going to go? So comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.